Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have an update on the story I did about a month ago now about a 50-year-old male who is swimming with teenage girls, 13-year-olds. This person was allowed to compete in the 12 to 13-year-old category, I believe it was, or 13 to 14. And this is a trans-identified male who, for some reason, thinks it's appropriate to compete in this age category. At the time, there was a lot of speculation. There were questions being asked as to where this person gets changed. Now, the aquatic centres, they usually have a family changing room where an individual can go into, or they have a men and a female, changing rooms. And, we were questioning, where does this person get changed? Well, it's been confirmed. This person was seen multiple times going into the girls' changing room. And a parent, I've been told that a parent has confirmed as well that this person gets undressed in front of the girls. And this aquatic centre, this is another aquatic centre now. This is a different competition, that he entered into. And this aquatic centre seems to be more concerned about journalists reporting on this story, which I believe is a very important story for parents to know about. That when you send your kids to do, participate in sports, the insane rules of the facility may very well allow them to be in a changing room with a grown man. Now, this is getting insane. I don't know where it stops. So apparently, identifying as a woman, a male who wants to identify as a woman, can now have access to children, can now compete in the same competition as children. The gender barrier has been broken, but now the age barrier has been broken. This has been used for some reason to break age barriers. And it's not the first time I've heard of males who are grown competing with girls. There was a skateboarding competition, I believe, where like a 29-year-old beat a 12-year-old and was proud of themselves. So apparently, you're not only stunning and brave when you infringe upon women's sports, you're also stunning and brave when you infringe upon the privacy of children. Now, the people who need to be talking the loudest about this are the trans community. They need to be denouncing this. They need to make it clear in no uncertain terms that they're not those people who say, we're coming for your children. Remember the guy in the restaurant who was so offended about being asked that? Are you part of those people who say we're coming for your kids? So if you don't want that association attached to your community, you're going to need to denounce this, and you're going to need to speak the loudest in condemning this. Because since when does identifying as a woman mean that you should be in the changing room with children as a 50-year-old male individual? Why does that mean that now this person can be in the changing rooms with 13-year-old girls, with teenagers? So shout out to Rebel News, who broke this story and are continuing to do follow-ups. And apparently, the police were called. First, they wanted to call the police on David, who's reporting the story. And he said, you know what? If anybody should have the police called on them, it's this individual who's in the girls' changing rooms. So David called the police. And it's unbelievable what happened, but we'll get into it.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Barrie, Ontario. Well, I'm standing in the East Bayfield Community Centre. That is the venue for the Trojan Cup. It's a swimming competition. And guess who is dropping by the pool for a dip? Yes, none other than Nicolas Cepeda, aka Melody Wiseheart. He is the 50-year-old man we discovered swimming with girls as young as 13 at the Markham Pan Am Centre just north of Toronto in October. Well, he's back. It's like Jaws 2, isn't it? And the thing is, why? Why is this being tolerated? For starters, consider that the world's governing body, that would be World Aquatics, introduced regulations earlier this year that state male swimmers who transitioned after puberty cannot swim with females. Cepeda transitioned well after puberty, so he's breaking the rules of the world governing body. And Swim Ontario, Swim Canada, this community centre, they seem to have absolutely no problem with that.
And that's the issue. Nationally, locally, a person can compete in the category that doesn't fall in line with their biological sex. The rules of Swim Canada, Swim Ontario doesn't restrict people according to sex when it comes to these rules. They do have age categories though. From what I read, they have age categories. So I do not understand why this person is allowed to compete with teenagers. I do not understand. And the rules I read said that you have to be within that age category at the time of the competition. So your birthday has to have passed at the time of that competition to fall into that age category. But yet, they're allowing a 50-year-old male to compete with these girls. Makes no sense. Now, the World Aquatics, the way I see it, is that when it comes to international swimming, they don't want that to be ruined. There's a lot of money at stake when it comes to international swimming, when it comes to the Olympics, when it comes to, world championship events. There's sponsorship deals. There's, careers that are going the distance. And when it's at that level, it matters somehow. But at a lower level, when it comes to, locally and nationally, they can experiment all they want and, virtue signal. That's how I see it. Internationally, it matters somehow. But locally, they don't care. They're perfectly happy to push their diversity, inclusion, and equity for biological males, but not for women, all they want.
And by the way, this is not to say Nicolas Cepeda should be banned from the pool. What World Aquatics did was introduce another category specifically for transgender people. And at the World Swimming Championships back in October in Berlin, Germany, not one person entered the other category. So you have to wonder, don't you, folks? The trans community has been screaming for years and years, tolerance, acceptance, we want to compete. Well, World Aquatics allowed that to give them their own division. Nobody showed up, so maybe there's something else at play. And by that, I mean, is Nicolas Cepeda, I don't know, does he have a fetish? Does he want to go into the girls' change room? Does he want to shower with 13-year-old girls? That's what it looks like to me. My camerawoman, Avery, spotted him going into the female change room. And nobody here, none of the officials, is stopping him from doing so. Again, who cares what Rebel News or David Menzies has to say about transgender athletes? This is the world governing body saying this is offside. In any event, we hope to interview Nicolas Cepeda. I think he was tipped off that we were here and he entered the community center through a back entrance. Perhaps we can catch him going out. In the meantime, we're going to watch him swim. Just will you see the perverse visuals of a 50-year-old man lining up against 13 and 17-year-old girls. Oh, I've seen other people.
So there you have it. It's been confirmed that this 50-year-old male is going into the locker room and changing in front of these teenage girls. And the aquatic centre is okay with this, apparently. And we know full well, I hope so, that if any other man was to walk into the girls' changing rooms, especially while they were teenagers, girls as young as 13 changing in those locker rooms, the police will be called immediately and that man will be thrown out. But apparently, when somebody says they identify as a woman, it's acceptable. When did we get to this point? Canada, what are y'all doing? What is going on? That people have been brainwashed or whatever has happened. People have been conditioned to go along with this to the extent that they're now opening the doors to predators. That doesn't even matter anymore. We no longer have boundaries in place to protect young girls from the potential of predators. We no longer consider that anymore because that could lead to offence. That could be called bigotry, apparently. All the person needs to do is say they identify as a woman, and the doors are open. No vetting, no boundaries, no consideration of what is appropriate and what is inappropriate. None of that matters anymore. Why? Why are we putting children at risk? This 50-year-old male going into the changing rooms, exposing himself. Because if you get changed, you're exposed. I don't care what anyone says. This person has exposed themselves to young girls. There's no other way to spin that. It's bad enough that 20-year-olds had to deal with this due to the likes of Leah Thomas. That was bad enough. But now we're saying that it's okay for 12-year-olds, for 13-year-olds to deal with this? Are you going to tell those teenage girls that there's something wrong with them if they're not okay with this? Are you going to tell them that they have to be comfortable with this, or they're bigots? Is that what you're going to say? Because that's what Riley Gaines was told, and her colleagues. They were in their early 20s dealing with this, and now we're inflicting this on children. So let's take a look. Look at how they treat David. They treat him as if he's a threat, when the real threat is welcomed with open arms, is encouraged, is called stunning and brave even.
I have the protocols right here.
If you're not going to listen, I'm going to ask you, please stop recording me.
We're in a public place. There's no expectation of privacy.
Then we need to call the police.
Mr. Menzies, I'm going to call Mr. Oakley on you. So,
how you doing, sir? Do you know?
Please stop.
Wait, who are you?
No, we're not doing this.
Okay, well, you have no authorization to kick us out.
Yes, we do.
Are you a security guard?
No.
Okay. Then have a nice day. Pardon me?
Facility operators, David.
Yeah, it's a public facility. There was a 50-year-old man competing against 13-year-olds and changing in the girls' shower. Are you going to do anything about that?
No, it's got nothing to do with me, David.
Why aren't you going to do anything about that?
You have to go outside, okay? You got to go outside.
I don't think so. We're here to cover some perversity happening in this swimming pool.
It's got nothing to do with me, David.
Okay. Well, it has nothing to do with you. Why are you telling us to leave?
Because you can't take film in here.
You cannot.
We see, look, there's people right there in the front row recording. Look at that woman in the corner.
I don't see anybody recording.
What are you talking about? That woman right there. Okay.
If this is okay, if what they're doing is okay, why be so upset about him filming? Why try and stop him doing his job and shedding light on this? If everything is okay, if this is perfectly normal, why is he not allowed to film? Why is he not allowed to report on it? Journalists report on sporting events all the time. If one of those young girls was a swimming sensation, they would be reporting on it and nobody would say anything. But he's coming along and reporting on something that's pretty unusual, a 50-year-old male competing in the teenage category. It's like they know that this is wrong. They're admitting that this is wrong. Because why are they trying to distance themselves at the same time? Oh, it's got nothing to do with me. Oh, I don't want to be on camera. But yet they're interfering and trying to stop him from doing his job. They know this is wrong, but they've been conditioned to accept this.
Well, what do you call the Barrie police right now?
Okay, you know what? I'm tired of this. We're going to call the police. Because you have a 50-year-old man changing with 13-year-old girls. Do you think that's right?
No comment.
No comment? Wow. You don't think that? What about you, sir? Do you think that's right? Do you have a daughter?
And this isn't about us.
Yeah, no, it's about a 50-year-old man who might be a sexual pervert showering with 13-year-old girls. And you're happy with that?
To leave.
Okay.
We are going to call police.
Well, folks, you saw it yourselves. Some people who would not identify themselves said we're not allowed to film. There are tons of people recording in the spectator gallery. Look, Avery, there's the lady in the black top. She's filming, totally unmolested. But the real story is they are protecting what we think might be a sexual pervert, a 50-year-old man swimming with girls who are minors and apparently changing and showering with them too. You know what? They said they're calling the police on me. I'm calling the police on them. Yes, hi there. I'm at the East Bayfield Community Centre, and there is a 50-year-old male that has invaded the change room and showers of 13-year-old girls.
Okay, I have a call in here for officers to attend the rec center there. He's in the swimming area now, is that correct?
He is on the swimming deck, that's right. He just had a swim in the pool.
Perfect. We're going to have officers come by as soon as we can, okay? We are just very, very busy at the moment, okay?
Well, there you go, folks. For a change, we called the police. And why did we call the police? Because we are seeing, as I said earlier, perversity in the pool. He has absolutely no right, according to the world governing body for swimming, that would be World Aquatics, to be swimming with biological females, let alone biological female minors. And yet it's being tolerated. And as you saw, the people running this community center, the cowards wouldn't give their name. They were ejecting us based on a no filming rule. But, you know, the thing is, we made a printout of the photography regulations and the video regulations. And essentially, it's not to publish unflattering shots, anything of a sexual nature, and of course, not to go into change rooms, bathrooms, and showers while filming. Isn't that interesting? They don't want a camera going into the shower that a 13-year-old girl is in, but if you're a 50-year-old male with your wedding tackle still attached, that's equity, diversity, tolerance, and all the rest of that rubbish.
So I encourage you to watch the rest on rebelnews.com. And he called the police, as you saw there, and rightly so. But what's interesting is how the police responded. And it's very, very disturbing. Like I said, the journalists are the ones being treated like they're the threat. Under any other circumstances, if a 50-year-old male was seen going into the changing rooms that are for women, the police would be called. They would be thrown out. They would be accosted. Now, Rebel News, they said that they were informed about this situation by the parents. So the parents are speaking up. The parents are saying that this is wrong. And obviously, you know, they want something to be done about it. They reported it to the press and, you know, are shedding light on this story. However, in my opinion, not one girl should be competing. Not one girl should be competing up there. The parents need to pull out every single girl from that competition. Now, it's not fair that these young girls should now have to exclude themselves from the competition. It's not fair that they're the ones who are going to miss out on doing the sport that they love. Okay, and that's why we speak up about this, because what's happening is it's the women and it's the girls who are ending up being excluded, all to accommodate males into their category, which makes no sense. But for the sake of safety, for the sake of protecting these young girls, they need to be pulled out of that competition. Not one of them should have been up there, in my opinion. I don't understand, you know, why any of them were swimming with this person. I hope that Nicolas will be swimming by himself. And apparently I've been told that, you know, this person is enjoying the attention, gets a kick out of it. It kind of indicates, you know, why nobody turned up for the open category. No one turned up for the third open category that is there to ensure inclusion, right? None of them were interested in that. But what they do love is infringing on the women's category and the girls' categories now. And, you know, causing a disturbance, getting people riled up. They seem to love the attention. Leah Thomas, who came across as, you know, the poor, you know, victim in all of this, who was being targeted by bigots. That was a story that was spun. But when it came down to it, Leah Thomas loved the attention. Leah Thomas got some sort of enjoyment from dressing up as a woman, as we've seen since. And that's what was going on there. And that's who was in a locker room with these women. And who's in a locker room with these children now? All of those people who were defending this, all of those people who were protecting this person, they should be ashamed of themselves. So watch the rest of that video. We're going to look into what happened next when he called the police. And Yeah, the outcome will shock you. And David did try to interview Nicholas. Nicholas was accosted, and Nicholas ran.
Mr. Cepeda, are you a sexual pervert? Do you have a record of sexual perversion?
Protect me from these people.
By the way, you mothers, you have no problem with a 50-year-old male showering with your daughters? No? You're not going to answer any questions? Or would you like to talk off the record later? I can accommodate that if you're afraid of cancel culture.
You are breaking the rules. Now, please, can you take that out of my face? I do not consent to be interviewed or on film.
Okay.
So please exit the building.
Well, you're the star interview so far, so thank you for that. Are you going to do anything about a 50-year-old man showering with 13-year-old girls? That's against the law, actually.
Do you young ladies have any trouble with a mature male swimming with the girls?
Melody?
Yeah.
No.
No? Really? Okay.
She goes in her changing room. I see her in the mornings.
Oh, okay. And she doesn't go in your change room?
She does.
Oh, okay.
You see, folks, this is exactly the problem. These are mothers. You'd think they'd be in mama bear mode, a potential sexual predator. How else can you describe a 50-year-old man changing and showering with girls as young as 13? They don't care.
What do you say to that? I have nothing to say. Those were the parents. So now we have our answer. Some of these parents are okay with this. They're okay with it. The little girl who David was talking to, as you heard there, confirmed that this person is in her changing rooms, and this has been normalized to these children. This has been normalized. What happened to stranger danger? So what kind of conditioning have people been through where parents are okay with this now? A few short years ago, if you were to tell people this story, they would say absolutely not. If you were to tell parents that grown men could compete with their daughters and be in the changing rooms with them, they would say absolutely not. But something has happened that now parents are going along with this. Something has happened over the years where people have been conditioned to accept this, and it is so sad and disturbing. Those parents are a disgrace, and there's a reason why you couldn't even answer the question about whether this is right. None of them can actually answer the question because they know it's wrong, but they feel, I don't know, maybe they feel they have no other option, so they're just going along with it. But what you're doing is you're putting your children at risk. They're just 13. They shouldn't be exposed to male genitalia. I would like to think that we could all agree on that.
I'm an operator here that works here.
Are you a security guard? Or?
No, I work here.
Why are you asking us to leave?
Because you're videotaping people in the pool swimming.
We weren't videotaping before.
Camera videotaping me right now.
Right.
Yeah, so leave the building.
Well, I've got news for you. There is a 50-year-old man pretending to be a 13-year-old girl, showering and changing with the real biological woman. Do you have a problem with that?
Leave the building.
Pardon?
Leave the building.
Okay, I don't have your name. I don't see any ID.
You need to go.
Okay.
All right, you can get that out of my face and you can go, or the cops will come and take you out. I've asked you to leave. So I need to leave.
Ladies, what do you think? I think you're mothers with orange velour swimmers.
Morning, eh?
What's
Let's
that?
go. Let's go.
I don't think so.
Go.
No.
All right, I'll go call the cops.
Okay, call the cops. You know what? I'm going to call the cops too. That there's a 50-year-old pervert swimming with girls.
So they have all that energy for the man with the mic reporting on this story. And they have none of that energy for the 50-year-old in the changing rooms. Does that make any sense? I don't know if these people have been through some re-education program. They've been locked away in some camp, looking at a screen, hypnotized, brainwashed. I don't know. That's what it looks like. This could be a movie. This could be a movie. This is really disturbing. And again, this guy, he knows that this is wrong. But all he can say is get out. Because he's just following orders, right? None of these people can stand up for what is right. And this is what we're dealing with today.
Nice to meet you, Terry.
Carrie.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's
Carrie.
okay.
Okay, then.
So I'm going to grab your names.
Sure. Can I ask why?
Yes, because you're being trespassed from the property.
Oh, okay, then well, we're out here. We left.
Yeah, but you're still on their property.
Isn't this a
We're
sidewalk?
gonna ask you to cross the street.
Oh, okay.
But can I grab your name, please, sir?
Yes, it's David Menzies.
How do I spell your last
Oh,
name?
Menzies.
Z-I-E-S. Okay, what's your date of birth?
And officer, just to let you know,
What's your
the
date of
reason
birth,
why we're
David?
here. Oh, this is important.
Please, your date of birth.
This is more important than
David, your
trespassing.
Date of birth, please. I'm asking
Okay,
you your
April
date of birth.
20. And if I may tell you why we're here, we're following up a story. It's about a 50-year-old male who is invading the change room and showers of teenage girls, I believe under section 173.1 and 173.2, that is against of the Criminal Code of Canada, in terms of indecent exposure. That is against the law. Is there any way your officers can press charges against this individual? His name is Nicolas Cepeda.
So, sir, how come you attended here instead of calling the police initially?
Oh, I called the police last week in Barrie. We waited for 2.5 hours and nobody showed up.
Okay, so I can't speak to what's going on with Barrie, and I can't speak to what's going on there because it has not been reported to me.
Okay.
But what I am going to ask you to do is move across the street, please.
Certainly.
They don't want you on the property.
Okay, we thought this was a sidewalk.
Yeah,
It looks
that's
like a
fair,
sidewalk.
And that's fair,
Okay.
but just head across the street, and you're not welcome back on the property. If you are, they're going to call police. Okay, Mr. Menzies?
Okay, but can I ask you, as officers of the law, and blessed are the peacemakers, can you look into this Mr. Cepeda indecently exposing himself to little girls?
I can tell you if this has been reported to the police, it will be looked into, okay?
Okay, do I have to make another call to OPP? Or?
If you would like to call the police, you are more than welcome to that, but at this moment, I'm just going to ask you to move across.
But you won't act on this independently right now, will you?
Just give us a call, and if it's been reported to Barrie, let them know again.
Okay.
Give us a call and report it, but I'm going to ask you to move across the street, okay?
Certainly. Have a good weekend, officers.
So the police seem to be turning a blind eye to it. They never showed up. He waited for 2 hours. Now this aquatic centre has called the police on David. They welcome a 50-year-old male in the locker rooms with girls, but they called the police on David. And this police officer is more concerned about him walking a few meters across the street than the 50-year-old male indecently exposing himself in the girls' changing rooms. Being very disingenuous, saying, well, I can't deal with that. That's got nothing to do with me. You're a police officer. If you see a robbery going on across the street, you may have showed up for, someone reporting trespassing. But if you see a robbery going on across the street, do you not have to call it in and do something about it? Call for backup and address that situation? Oh, well, that's got nothing to do with me. You're a police officer. So what that was turning a blind eye. So as far as I'm concerned, we're living in a society where kids are now collateral damage in this cult of gender ideology. Gender ideology comes before everybody else, every other group, as far as I'm concerned. Even children. Apparently, a parent in the changing rooms with this person, with Nicholas, had to put up a towel to make sure that her daughter wasn't exposed to seeing male genitalia, and also didn't have to get undressed while a male was in the locker room. But the police, the aquatic centre, the staff at this aquatic centre seem to be more concerned about somebody who was simply reporting the story. And now the journalist, David, has been banned. So they can ban a man who's reporting the story, but they're welcoming a 50-year-old male to go into the changing rooms. They're allowing him to go into the changing rooms where girls are present. This is an upside-down clown world. I don't know how else to explain it. People have been conditioned. Parents have been conditioned, as you saw there. And the people who are going to suffer are the children. This person is not in fear for their life. He continues to go to competitions. This person is loving the attention, just like so many of them do. And all these parents, these sporting bodies, these organisations, they are enabling this. And they're going to be on the wrong side of history when all of this proves to be a complete disaster. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and your children. And God willing, I will see you in the next video.